I think the big thing with Connor McDavid's media availability is the unfinished business, but also I need to do what's important for my family. That's what he says. So I think going into the Leaf land of things, also going into the NHL landscape, Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. There's no question about that. I think when you look at quotes like this, there's no surprise at all. Connor McDavid was asked about his future in Edmonton and feeling like there's unfinished business. His quote, "This core has been together for a long time and we've been building to this moment. With that being said, I ultimately still need to do what's best for me and my family, but of course there's unfinished business here." So to move from that into the other quote, which he kind of talks about needing to regroup. I think for me, like, some of it's a little interesting because talk about needing to regroup and talking about when the time comes, he's going to make some decisions, and again, around his family, and there's no rush. So I think some people are going, yikes. Some people are going, okay, well, it's no big deal. He's going to be back in Edmonton. If I had to make my prediction right now, I think he's going to be back in Edmonton. I'm just going to say that. I think he's going to stay an Oiler. But we always have our surprises. I think a lot of people want to reference and compare like the Wayne Gretzky situation, right? Like, of course, that happened. You can't ignore the past. But I do look at it as, okay, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are really, really close. Of course, we know that. That's not a secret. I will give you guys this. Like, both Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl's partners are from Ontario, specifically Northern Ontario. And I think when you look at that, you look at where their families kind of reside. You look at Connor McDavid's family. You look at big moments in his life. I believe he proposed and got married in Ontario to Lauren. So I do consider that in the back of my head. Like, I look at the John Tavares situation, and at the time, and I've also just been a lot more looped in with what's going on with John Tavares over his career, I expected him to go to Toronto. Like, a lot of people thought he was going to go back to the island. A lot of people thought he was going to go maybe to the highest bidder, but it was like family for JT. And I think there's like a good level of examples and a good level of history there from where he met the love of his life, where his family's spent time, and of course, just prioritizing that. I think when you're looking at Connor McDavid, the conversations and questions are going to be, okay, grandparents, if they have kids, right? Like, Connor McDavid, that's not a factor right now. Like, kids and family are not a factor right now. Leon Draisaitl just signed a long-term deal with the Edmonton Oilers, expecting Connor McDavid to be back and to be there long-term. I can tell you this for free. There is no way Leon Draisaitl signs that long-term extension with Edmonton without having confidence that Connor McDavid is going to be staying. And he had a conversation with Connor McDavid for sure. Many conversations. They spend so much time together. Like, their partners as well, the four of them. I'm sure it's been a conversation. I'm sure they don't want to get too much into business. They want to keep it light, and then things are talked about behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, McDavid and Draisaitl would have talked, and McDavid would have given him some assurances to be like, I intend to stay in Edmonton. Of course, things can change, right? I'll put it this way. Back-to-back Stanley Cup final losses, I don't think that was on their bingo card. So, of course, things do change, and I understand there's so many layers to a person's life, like professionally and personally. Connor McDavid wants to win a Stanley Cup. So if Edmonton has a brutal year next year, or they don't align certain things the way Connor McDavid envisions, so like the goaltender, the overall roster, the management, if there's certain elements to that change what McDavid had maybe given to Draisaitl in terms of assurances, in terms of confidence of him staying, if those things change, then yeah, McDavid's mindset and decision as of summer 2026 could change. But as I'm talking about this, as I'm putting this out there on the platform, I think it's got to be prefaced that Connor McDavid could easily sign an extension on July 1st, and I would not be surprised. But you go back to those quotes, it is June 19th, and Connor McDavid said there's no rush. So I don't know if that's a negotiation tactic or if that's truly, hey, there is no rush here. I'm going to take time to talk with my family, and I'm going to take time to see how the Oilers organization handles this offseason coming out of, as I said, a back-to-back Stanley Cup final loss. So I think that's a huge part of it. But I think there is merit to go, okay, Connor McDavid's frustrated with the situation. They lost another Stanley Cup final. It's fresh still. Give him some time, and let's hear from him in a couple of weeks and I wouldn't be surprised if McDavid signs an extension in Edmonton. So that's where we're at, but I do understand the Connor McDavid's coming home, and we can't compare it to the John Tavares situation because there are, I would say, layers to that, right? McDavid met his partner in Ontario. All the families in Ontario. Family. When is Connor McDavid wanting to start a family? Where does he want to have that family grow up? So a lot of those questions still unanswered, and there's time definitely from now until July 1st when he can sign an extension to maybe this being a conversation through next season, because I think a lot of people thought maybe last year that a guy like Mitch Marner, a high-profile player specifically in Toronto, would maybe sign an extension. It didn't happen, and then they went the full year, and now he's going to be a UFA for anyone in the league to sign. So we're going to see what happens with Connor McDavid. I think Oilers fans, you could still feel confident he's going to stay an Oiler, but of course, out of those quotes and lots of time, things could change.